I'm just going to add to the mix and have some printed paper as well. I like to go low-tech at times. Oh, they could add to the fun. Thanks, David. As David said, I'm now a lecturer in entrepreneurship. When I started talking about apps, I was the principal designer at C4DI, which is the Centre for Design and Innovation at the Robert Gordon University. And it's a project that's been set up to help companies be more innovative in a whole sort of series of ways. What I want to talk today is about some of the stuff, and Chris will be happy to know that I am going to cover what he was hoping I was going to cover, which is really about what you need an app to do. Now, as much as I'd like to think that I'm still a kid, I'm not a 15-year-old kid in my bedroom making games anymore. I know nothing about the technical process of making apps. We've got some experts here today. They're the guys to speak to. But what I am good at is helping companies explore what is a good idea and what's not a good idea. Sean talked about how when you've got an idea for an app, you need to kind of think it through, sketch it out before you go and speak to a designer. And that's a lot of what we do with companies, is we kind of talk them through the process of thinking, is this a good idea, and how are we going to implement it? So we help companies innovate across a whole range of areas, from kind of strategic issues and what their business model is, helping them articulate their core values, their branding, their communications, how they're always true to the values that underpin what the organisation does. We also help companies look at their users' experience, not just about pushing stuff out that people might want or they might not want, but helping really involve users to create products and services that people really value. But we also, and at the heart of that, is helping companies create a sort of internal culture that helps them be more innovative across everything that they do. And over the last year, we've had quite a lot of people come to us, and they're all saying the same thing at the moment, which is, we really need an app. And it's very enticing to get kind of sucked into this dream of technology, especially on a kind of horrible day like today. It's easy to sort of want to go and retreat into this second world where you can probably make the sunshine in Inverness, and sort of go away from reality. But the first question we ask people is, is that really what you want to do? And I kind of have a caveat to this, which is I absolutely love technology. I always have done. I've got so many different devices. I've got iPads, iPhones, MacBooks. I've got a cupboard at home filled with old bits of technology which were great at the time, and then they've now been superseded. But the point of interrogating people about their ideas is to help them work out whether actually, are they just wanting to do an app because it's kind of a fashionable buzz thing to do, or is it something that can tie into something deeper that they do? Are they actually really asking about what do we do with social media in general? Or are they thinking, perhaps we could develop an interactive iBook? That's the kind of new thing that's just been launched. Do they need to look a bit more about their overall digital strategy, and also how you can augment existing experiences kind of in the online world through technology? So what we do is we help companies go through a process, and we help them sort of inquire through their ideas, and in particular with apps and first stages, to see, is this strategically important to what they do? Does it make good business sense? How does their idea for an app actually reflect their vision and their values? And also, how are they going to make it a really good user experience? Because there's so much technology, it's been very promising, but when you actually come to use it, it's so difficult and unwieldy to use, it crashes all the time, that actually it's very disappointing. That can reflect very badly on the business. And we go through this process of helping companies look at questions like this. What problem is this app going to solve? Is it just something that's a nice idea, or is it going to solve a real need for a customer? It could either be a need that customers have said that they have, or it could be a problem that they actually don't know that they have at the moment. We also take them through this process of looking at their core values, and I talk about this time and time again because it's absolutely crucial in helping companies reiterate what it is that makes them different from everybody else. Lots of companies are wanting to build apps at the moment. Are you just jumping on that app bandwagon, or is it going to be something that's going to really crucially differentiate you from other people? Another question is how do you communicate it? I was talking to Nicola very briefly that I can never find the app that I want to get. I search online, and there's so many different apps out there, and I could become sort of paralysed by choice. And that's really crucial. How are you going to communicate your app? You can't just stick it on the App Store and expect people are going to download it. You need to think about how you're going to let people know that you've developed this amazing new thing. Also, how do you involve your users? We're very into the idea of co-creation with your users and your customers. It could be your customers, it could be your suppliers, it could also be your competitors. Some of the best ideas have been ones where you've got companies collaborating to provide an app that provides a kind of much broader service. And that's really important to get people involved, so you don't just develop something, launch it onto the market, and everybody goes, well, actually, this isn't what we want. You need to think about how you can involve people along the whole kind of process of discovery and giving birth to this app, and not just before you launch it, but also after you launch it. You can curate apps over time. That's the great thing about them. They're always sort of permanently in beta. You don't just create it, deliver it, and that's it, finished. It's something that you can update, you can add content to it over time. So it's really important to go through all these stages with companies before they've actually started building something, because if they haven't thought through some of these kind of crucial questions, they'll find that they've actually gone off on the wrong tack to begin with. And then the designers get frustrated because the client doesn't actually know what they really want, and you end up with a bad product. And there's some sobering statistics that show that 80% of branded apps have been downloaded less than 1,000 times. Companies haven't gone through this process. They've just thought, right, this is a great new idea, let's do it. And time again, it's proved that it hasn't worked if companies haven't tied it into all their other strategies, what their offline experience is like. So an app can't just exist in isolation. It needs to be part of a much bigger system of everything that companies do. But on the flip side, this was the figure I had at the time. I suspect it's massively increased by now. It's a massive, massive market for apps, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow over time. But again, we kind of counsel companies against thinking, right, if we launch this app, we're going to make loads and loads of money. But instead think about what are the different types of value that you can get from developing an app. And there's lots of different things. Yes, you can release an app to make lots of money through selling it. But you can also use it as a way of stimulating people to buy stuff online rather than through shops or whatever, reducing costs. It can also help you extend reach. Obviously, you can access an app from all around the world, so you can suddenly go from a very small, insular, local player into a much bigger, global company with a much bigger reach. It can also help increase people's perception of your brand and what it is that makes you different. It can help you create a much better communication stream with your customers as well. And again, how do you take that kind of online experience and continue that offline? Because if you have this disconnect between this great app experience and then poor customer service, then there's a disconnect, or it can work the other way around. It can help extend the brand and the range of things that you do. And crucially, it can help you make your products more different from your competitors. And the other one is to help lock customers in for lifetime. As I said, I've got iPhones, iPads, all these sorts of things. I am Apple through and through, and I have been for 10 years. If they keep going, they've got me for the next 30 years. So it's really important to try and get customers engaged right from the start so that you can have this whole lifetime of interaction with them. Because what I don't know what the future holds for technology, but what I do know is that in 10 years' time, if I get invited back to speak here, there's not going to be an iPad here. There's not going to be an iPhone there. We're not going to be talking about the App Store. There's going to be completely new technologies. But if you can continue to ride that wave, you can have this relationship with customers over a very, very long time, and that's very important. So these are some of the questions and the process that we go through with people on the process of thinking through their ideas. And sometimes people have said, actually, no, we've decided what we don't need is an app. And in quite a lot of cases, actually, we help them unpick their ideas. And they found out that actually there's 2 or 3 different things that they want to do. Yes, there's an app, but also there's an element of customer service that they need to improve as well. So by unpicking the thinking behind the idea, you can actually think much broader, much more strategically about the range of things that you actually need this app to do. And hopefully later on you'll hear about some of the technical stuff to do with apps. But I'm now going to hand over to Nicola to talk about business models in the publishing industry. So thank you very much.